Sometimes when a murder goes unsolved, it literally tears a family apart.
It really can, and that's what happened to the Drumwrights after somebody killed their sweet 15-year-old son in their own home in tiny McKenzie. Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier with tonight's cold cases from the Ferrier Files.
Becky Drumwright is so angry someone killed her boy, angry at law enforcement for not solving the case, and just plain angry that the murder led to divorce.
Tony Drumwright had a terrible beginning. He wasn't loved as a baby. He was nearly killed.
Tony had been taken by his feet and slung up against the wall when he was a baby. He was totally paralyzed. And at 18 months old, he started to regain his functions. But he was blind in one eye.
Becky Drumwright stepped in. She adopted Tony, got him fitted with a glass eye, and showered him with love. He wanted to be a computer programmer. He was a homebody. So it was no surprise on August 25th, 1999, he came straight home after school. But when Mom and Dad came home from work, they couldn't find him. But Dad noticed the family gun was missing.
And he said, "Oh my God."
Tony was missing too.
Then I heard Henry call my name in like a blood-curdling. I mean, I can't describe that, but I'll never forget the way he called for me.
His dad found him face down behind the house by the air conditioning unit with a bullet wound in the back of his head. Police believed he had killed himself, gun in the mouth, bullet out of the back of his head, suicide. But what no one saw this afternoon was this bullet hole in the closet door. The gun had been fired in the house. Was Tony in a fight with an intruder? No one wondered because no one knew. The family followed Tony to the hospital. When they got home, the Carroll County Sheriff had never even considered yellow tape or a crime scene. The assumption was suicide, but that was wrong, way wrong. The shot in the house and that bullet wound in the back of the head was an entrance wound. Tony was shot in the back of the head running for his life. And all of a sudden, here comes the sheriff with the crime tape.
He said, "Well, I've got some good news and I've got some bad news." And I was so pissed because he wasn't blurting out anything, so methodically speaking. And I said, "What?" "Well, the good news is he didn't do this to himself. The bad news is somebody did it to him."
But now there was no crime scene. Caring friends cleaned up everything up while the Drumwrights were at the hospital. And the sheriff actually decided to let people believe it was suicide.
Their strategy was, let's just let it go. Let's just let it be quiet and we'll flush the people out to talk. That's so disgusting.
Angry already, a friend told Becky Drumwright the murder weapon had been compromised.
That's why there are no fingerprints on the gun. Because Barney Fifes at the Sheriff's Department handled the damn gun.
4 years ago, new District Attorney Matt Stowe reopened the case. He exhumed the body to look for DNA evidence.
The exhumation, without getting into it in a lot of details, if it had solved the case, we'd be in court right now talking about it, so it hasn't solved it yet. It did provide us with some additional clues, but we're still chasing those down.
Can you imagine your 15-year-old child being murdered? Your homebody, quiet, good kid, never a whiff of trouble, taken from you out of the blue? I'll tell you this, it destroyed the Drumwrights.
But it's been 20 years. It destroyed my family. I can tell you that.
Becky couldn't get past the murder. Her husband couldn't talk about it. She lost her marriage. She even lost her daughter for a decade.
I ended up putting myself in a mental institution because it just was more than I could take.
DA Matt Stowe hopes someone comes forward. Did Tony's killer really keep quiet all these years? Someone must know who killed the little boy whose life began and ended so violently.
2 witnesses have come forward and named the killer, but as you know, there's a wide gap between knowing who did it and proving it. I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News.